The war in Gaza is continuing, but so is the war on campus. Jewish students are increasingly under attack by pro-Hamas campus mobs, and the universities, in particular Ivy League schools, have received harsh criticism from the public to the U.S. Congress for their refusal to deal with extremist anti-Semitic hate on their campuses. Now, here to speak with us is assistant professor at Columbia University, Shai Davidai, who's been outspoken about the failures of Columbia University to deal with anti-Semitism from October 7th. Shai, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for dealing with this really important topic.
So we know that the campus hate groups like Students for Justice in Palestine and also the Jewish Voice for Peace were suspended from Columbia's campus for their calls to genocide against Jews and harassment of Jewish students. But you recently shared a video from last week showing them holding an unauthorized event on campus inciting this same violence against Jews. Now, what has the university's response been?
Yeah, well, we need to set the record straight. They were suspended not for calling for the genocide of Jews. Apparently, that's still acceptable at Columbia. They were not suspended for endangering Jewish or Israeli students or for disrupting student life. The only reason they were suspended is because they held two unauthorized protests and that broke the rules of the university, that broke their policies. So they were basically suspended on a technicality. And then the irony is that they keep holding these unauthorized events. So one, they're not allowed to hold any event on campus, and they still hold events. Two, they announced that they'll be holding protests. The university has said that they will not allow the protest to keep going. And yet they held the protest, and the university has done absolutely nothing about that. And three, mere 3 days after the university said that calls for violence are against the school conduct, in their protests, we saw that they were shouting the same violent calls for intifada, for the annihilation of Jews from Israel. So the university has done absolutely nothing about it. They are unwilling to do anything about it. And in fact, if you look at the videos and the pictures that I and many others have posted and made public, you see that university administrators and deans are actually there to help the students. So they are attending the protests. They may not be participating, but they are allowing the protests to keep going, and they're trying to, quote unquote, contain the protests, even though they are unauthorized protests by suspended groups calling for violence.
Now, why do you think the university and other universities as well are so reluctant to deal with this issue head on?
You know, I wish I had an easy answer for this. I think it's partly cowardice. I've been told that I should not use this word, but it is cowardice. They're just afraid to enforce their own rules. It's partially callousness. They just don't care when it involves Jewish lives and Israeli lives. And they just think this will go away. They just think that if they don't do anything, that the students will quiet down. What they don't realize is that the hundreds of thousands of Jewish and Israeli faculty, staff, and students all across the US, we're not going away. We will keep fighting this because this is a civil rights issue. This is not a Jewish problem. This is society's problem. And that's what's going to happen. They think they can just wait us out. And we're here to tell them, you cannot wait us out. You cannot get rid of us because we have a right, just like any other ethnic group, for protection. This is also a Title VI issue. Columbia University is my employer. They have a federal responsibility to protect me, which they are failing. And I believe that we will start seeing lawsuits at Columbia and other universities all around the country because they are not treating all groups equally.
Now, we've seen some similar responses to this anti-Semitism on campus from the president of Harvard, most recently UPenn, and many are speculating that the financial influence of Qatar has a role to play in the university's placating terror support. Do you believe that's the case?
Look, I really, I'm an academic. I try to stay intellectually humble. I don't know because I don't have all the facts, right? They always say follow the money, and it does seem somewhat weird that the universities, not just Columbia, but all across the US, have billions of dollars of funding from foreign agents that they have not reported, right? Even if it's not the reason, it's a bad look, right? When you get billions of dollars from a government that is known to support Hamas, and at the same time, you allow pro-Hamas organizations to roam freely on your campus, then it's up to you to connect the dots. I don't know. But clearly, there's something that is holding back the universities from actually doing anything.
Indeed, definitely suspicious, to say the least. Well, I think we are out of time, but I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with us and, of course, for your courage in pushing back against some of the extremism that we're seeing on campus. We're all with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.